Well, hello, Bob Dandry here, and welcome back to Planet Zoo. So, last week we built a couple of koala enclosures, which will, be really helpful to helping the koala population. And today we're going to be doing a bit more expansion, and we'll also be doing some sort of infrastructure upgrades, things like that as well to help us out there. So let's jump in. So number one thing we've really been noticing over the past couple of episodes is that we don't really have the sort of setup with enough keepers in the right places to assist all of our animals. And it makes sense now that the Australian section of our zoo is really becoming a bit of a hub of activity, that we probably need some dedicated keeper facilities and staff facilities here to sort of specifically serve this area. It makes sense. I know, like in different zoos, there'll be staff that are really assigned to a specific area of the zoo and a specific group of enclosures. So we're going to be aiming to really sort of align ourselves with that sort of philosophy, and hopefully that will allow us to, do the right thing by our animals and keep everyone, staff, animals and guests happy. So the next place we'll be expanding in terms of our enclosures will be sort of past our kangaroo enclosure here, I'm thinking. And I think it makes sense for us to try and see if we can get a sort of a zookeeper path that skirts around the back of all of this, and so our keepers don't need to sort of go through the kangaroo enclosure to, service stuff and do all that sort of thing. A little issue we have here is that we've set up this bit of a waterfall. We can't just go directly through that because it'll ruin all that cool work we did there to make that little waterfall. Now, I don't think we can build like tunnels or anything. This isn't this isn't City Skylines. We can't just build a tunnel through. That would be very cool if we could.
12 seconds later.
Oh, tunneling. Oh, we do have tunneling. Excellent. Okay. So how do we do tunneling then? We're going to do this minimum width and see if we can do some tunneling. Okay, cool. So that's nice. So you can just sort of pop this around the back, and it can come back out here. We don't want it raised, though, do we? I don't think we do. How do we make it not raised? Can we like turn off path supports? Will that do that? No. Maybe if we build it from the other direction, we can potentially fix that up. No, see, it appears to want to be like this. What do you mean terrain modification failed? Okay, if we turn off flattened terrain. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Of course, this doesn't quite work, and that is, makes perfect sense, doesn't it? In terms of how this all works. Let's turn on flattened terrain again and see if this will fit in there. Okay, cool. So that's nice. We might need to do a little bit of modification here to sort of adjust this this waterfall so it actually looks good again. But I think that's a pretty good start. But yeah, so we've got a path through there, which is our first step. Now I think we'll determine where our guest path is going to go, which it'll curve back around towards the edge of the map a little bit, and we'll give our sort of keeper area a bit of room to, expand and have some good coverage so our guests can't see all the facilities there. Okay, so we've got a nice bit of area here that we can still use to stick a decent enclosure on, and then we can expand this area, put sort of a hub of keeper huts there to take care of that. What's very interesting indeed is that we don't get like a collection of Australian style like shells for our keeper buildings and stuff. That's really interesting. And like, what happened? Did they forget about doing that, or did they not bother by the time that happened? It's an interesting thing I've just discovered there anyway. So I think given that, we'll probably just use the Planet Zoo sort of standard, bits. So we'll probably lay out a little bit of a grid, so we can sort of keep things there. So we can keep things organized. Alright, so this is a nice little hub for us to start with. We've got a keeper hut, we've got a nice big staff room, we've got a vet surgery, and we've got a workshop as well. So from here, we should be able to sort of set up some zones, stuff like that, so that we'll have staff sort of ready and waiting to look after all of our Australian animals. We have a facility with our power, which of course is our staff rooms here. So we'll need to add in a power source there, or a transformer, and from there, yeah, should be good. So we should be able to get one in sort of nice and snug between our buildings here. Nice. Perfect, and that will cover everything off there. Alright, so we're going to create a new work zone. And so we'll get all of these in here. Alright, so this work zone, it includes all of our Australian enclosures, as well as the sort of other stuff associated, like our cafes and infrastructure. Cool. So we will go ahead and edit that one, and we'll call it Australian zone. Perfect. And we will assign some staff to that zone as well. So we've got 2 keepers, so we will add 2 to our Australian zone. We've also got a couple of vendors, or quite a few actually. Let's see who's working where. So, it doesn't really tell us, does it? Just by looking at them. So we might just apply sort of a couple of randos. Cool. A couple of caretakers as well. A mechanic. We might hire a new educator to assign to that zone as well. And probably another security guard as well to also sort of just be based in this area. Oh, I probably need a vet as well. Did we assign one? No, so we'll get... let's probably go with 2 in the Australian zone as well. 1 educator. And 1 security as well. Okay, so we'll assign you to the work zone. And we'll assign you to the work zone as well. Cool. Fortunately, Capybara died. It died while doing what it loved. Swimming. We do need to manage this enclosure a little bit, which I'll probably just do off camera because we've got quite a few capybaras. I think meerkats we've got quite a few as well. But they look pretty happy over there. They're just being fun guys. Okay, so we've done that managing. Next, I want to do a little bit of landscaping around this keeper area so that, as I said, guests can't see it because they don't like being able to see keeper facilities. Once again, I think it's actually really cool that you can see that. What are you carrying? You're treating a capybara. You are in the wrong place, my friend. But that's okay, we'll allow it. So just connect on our keeper path there, so they've got access to this area as well. And then we'll just do a little bit of decorating. Cue detailing montage. Alright, so we've got a fair bit of landscaping here. Obviously you can still see the keeper facilities, but I think it's okay. You know, it is expected that you're going to see them, really. So now we can move on to building our next enclosure. So what is it going to be? As usual, let's pop over to Zoopedia to check it out. So I think we are going to go with some cassowaries. Very cool flightless birds. I'm surprised they don't have like emus on here as well, but cassowaries are quite cool. Very aggressive as well. You probably don't want to be in an enclosure with one, and luckily they've got that right. And yeah, they're apparently least concerned. They don't have a very high population, but their numbers are decreasing quite a bit probably due to deforestation and that sort of thing. So let's go ahead and build a nice enclosure for our cassowaries. What we might do is sort of utilize this sort of shape we've got left over from our kangaroo enclosure, and we can probably use the back as well to give them a little bit of privacy, sort of away from guests, because they do like to just chill by themselves a lot as well. So we need a grade 2 fence, but at least 1.8 meters. So I think the existing fence we're using for our kangaroos is probably going to be just fine. To be honest, I probably wouldn't be leaving it at 1.8 meters. I definitely would be going with something a bit bigger than that. But, you know, Planet Zoo will do what Planet Zoo wants, I guess. Yeah, so we might just curve it around the back here, and probably sort of join it on about here. So they'll probably we'll get them a nice sort of screened area as well for them to rest and recuperate away from the, you know, prying eyes of zoo goers, because I think they do like their privacy quite a bit. Let's get a keeper gate on as well, which we can just join up to our existing path here. Excellent. And I think we might just get our cassowaries ordered and placed into the into here. We've got some animal welfare protesters, which I might just take care of whatever issues we have before we go on. Okay, and we've got a female we can use some of our points for, but we will need to, unfortunately, purchase a male. That is okay. And let's get them into the enclosure. Alright, and the first of our cassowaries is arriving. So let's have a look and see what they need to have a nice, lovely enclosure. So this is Alkina, our southern cassowary. Surprisingly, they're pretty chill with everything. Terrain needs to be changed a little bit. and they need some enrichment and hard shelter, but they're actually pretty happy with with what's going on. So what we might do is just get them a little shelter just sort of around the corner here, with a bit of privacy, and see if they like that. And we can sort of add some screening on both sides to keep them, you know, nice and happy. So how much hard shelter do they want? Is that enough for you? That is enough. Let's see how it looks. Okay, that was an interesting little run. Let's see how it looks when we have 2 in there. So it does... Okay, so it does pop down a fair bit. Okay, so that is probably not sufficient. We might get rid of it, and we can see if we can get a slightly larger one in. So what would your thoughts on this be? We can just get that around. %. Okay, perfect. So we might just do a little bit in terms of getting some so we might do a little bit just in terms of getting some sort of screening along this wall here, probably at the back as well, and just a little bit around here, just to keep things nice and you know, private for them. And what do you want? So Oceania, and Asian as well, and tropical. Cool. That is easy said and done. Whoa, stacked palms. Alright, that is perfect. And we can get just a few sort of bits and bobs of bamboo around here as well. Alright, so they've got a good amount of coverage. They have... terrain needs to be fixed up just a little bit. So they need a little bit of sand and soil and less grass, which seems to be the the theme with most of the animals we've been dealing with so far. So we'll get a bit of sand down, maybe around back here. And a bit of soil as well. Perfect. And nutrition and enrichment we need to look at now for them. Okay, apparently the one toy was enough for them. That's all they needed, but we'll give them a few others, just to keep them happy. And we'll just get a few food bowls around the place just to keep them nice and happy. We'll lay down a little bit of bedding as well. Okay, so if we hit play, they are, yeah, pretty happy with everything now. It's good to see. Alright, so we have some more mature platypuses, so we've probably got too many in here. Let's have a quick look at our enclosure. How many have we got? We've got 4 in there right now. We've got an infertile platypus because obviously she's unfortunately gotten old now. Biren is getting quite old as well. Oh, that's actually bad. We don't have any more females. So what we might do, we'll get these extra males moved on to our trade center. And we'll see if we can get another female in for Biren. So we've got 3 pretty good looking platypuses here, so we might get them released into the wild. And we'll see if we can acquire a new female. This is 1 female, which has only got a minute left, so we will get her adopted and into our zoo area. Inua. So we'll look forward to her arrival with great interest there. Perfect. Okay. Guest numbers are looking pretty good. They appear to be really interested in all of our Australian enclosures, which is good. And they are lining up in droves to get some food and some energy drinks. That sounds like me, to be honest. If we hop over to our cassowaries, they are getting a bit of interest. There's a few guests, not too many at the moment, who are, coming in to have a look and hopefully make a few donations. Nothing at the moment. I think cassowaries are pretty cool anyway, and that's all that matters. Well, our new cassowary enclosure is all up and running, so this week we've set up our little keeper precinct for our Australian area and gotten our 2 cassowaries into the zoo. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you get a ding to your device the next time I post a video. So you can find links to all my social media in the description, so please go on there, like, subscribe, follow, do all that wonderful stuff. I also want to give a particular shout out to my Twitch. I am starting to do a little bit of streaming, and Twitch is a lot easier to start making a little bit of money from than YouTube is. So shame on you, YouTube. So please get on there specifically and become a follower on the old Twitch. You'll also find a link to my Buy Me a Coffee if you want to give a little bit of financial support to the channel. So please consider jumping on and doing that as well. But until next time, I'm Bob Dendry. This is Planet Zoo. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.